Okay, I think we're in frame. Oh my god, it looks so oily. Wow. Hello everyone. This is my first time making any type of video like this at all. But hello if you're watching. My name is Asia. I'm a 25-year-old knitter. I would say pretty extremely advanced beginner, but I don't want to call myself intermediate because it scares me too much. I'm from the East Coast of the US and I've been knitting for about 3 years now. And I'm obsessed with talking about knits with people, and I'm also obsessed with watching podcast videos, knitting podcast videos. So I figured, why not make my own? Because I think that would be cool. So I'm gonna try to be consistent with these if I decide to post them at all. I don't know if this will make it up to the internet or not. But this one's probably just gonna start out and be very short because I only finished one object in the entirety of June, which is just last month. Today's July 1st. And so I will talk about one finished object, 2 whips, and I don't know, maybe kind of just leave it at that for the first time. And then if it does well, then I'll do more. So I don't know, I feel like it's just fun to kind of geek out about crafts. So I'm excited. So I know the standard setup for these videos is usually you talk about what you're wearing. If you're wearing a handmade object, then your FOs, whips, and acquisitions. I'll try to not do any acquisitions like ever because I really have so much yarn I need to not buy more. But I also just did get a part-time job at a yarn store, so that probably won't last long. So don't hold me to that. Okay, is there anything else that I should share about myself? I don't know if I should share any measurements or not for this, but I will always say what size of garment that I made for the pattern, so that should help. Actually, there is something that I want to preface. I am a self-diagnosed problematic knitter, which means that I do not do a lot of things that you're supposed to do when you knit. So I don't gauge swatch. A lot of times if my numbers get messed up in the middle of a row, I'll either increase or decrease to like fix it in the middle. I don't know if people really do that, like, but I sometimes also don't block depending on what the garment is. I know that's like really frowned upon, especially the gauge swatch thing, but I just don't understand it, and so it's a lot for my brain to process, so I don't do it. I also don't knit my garments to necessarily fit my body, which just means that if my garments come out oversized, I don't mind that because I like to wear my clothes big. So I haven't had a problem so far with that at all, and hopefully I will not. I hope I also just didn't jinx myself. Okay, so the only thing that I worked on for the entire month of June was one garment that I actually started in January of this year, and it took me 6 months to finish it on and off. Not like I wasn't monogamously knitting on it for 6 entire months. That would, I feel like, kind of be ridiculous for what the garment is. But it did take me a while to finish this because I started it and I was really motivated, and I think once I got past the yoke and started the body, I just got tired of it. It was like really too much for me, so I stopped working on it for a while. So like on and off, it took 6 months. So it is this. This is my Monday sweater by PetiteKnit. I guess I can put it on. It's so hot. It's like 85 degrees today, but I'm inside, so I'll put it on. So I knit this in the size small. Oh gosh, I love it so much. It's so cozy and comfy. It's like the best. If you're looking at this and you've knit this pattern, you're probably wondering why the neck looks like this, because I feel like it definitely does look considerably different from the photos, the pattern photos. It's wide because of the mods that it is. So let me talk about the pattern first. So it's a top-down raglan knit. There's a hole in one of the armpits. Is it this one? Yeah, don't look at that one. It's a long raglan, which I really love. I feel like it's so cute and I love the detail of it. So it's a top-down raglan sweater. It's very easy. There are short rows in the neck shaping, but I feel like even as a beginner, you could probably get away with doing it. She explains it very easy in the pattern. I feel like that's why a lot of people make petite knit garments is because the patterns are really reliable and easy to understand, at least in my opinion. I'm a very visual learner, so sometimes I have trouble reading patterns if they're not written clearly. So I will say 10 out of 10 on the clarity of this pattern. It was really, really simple. I did a couple of mods. So I knitted the size small, and I feel like this, for me, it's fine. Like it obviously is roomy. Like, I can't really stand, but like, you know, it's pretty long. That's my waist, and that's how far it goes. And I would say for me, this is an okay fit. Like, I don't mind it at all. I really love it. I've seen some people kind of compare this pattern to like a sweatshirt where it's just like a throw it on type thing, and I definitely agree. Sorry, it's so hot, oh my god. So I would say the fit of it for me is totally fine. What I did do though, there are modifications to the neck. This pattern actually calls for a folded over neckline, which I don't love the look of on certain sweaters, and I feel like on this sweater it looked great on her, but I was hesitant to do it for myself because I feel like they make my neck look weird and it makes my head look too small. Like, I just don't like a folded over neck, so I just did a regular 1x1 rib cast on. It did stretch when I blocked it. Like, the neck was more fitted before, and then when I blocked it, it stretched a little, but again, it's fine. Like, I plan on wearing this over tops anyway, so if it pokes through, I don't mind that. One other thing I did for the sleeve decreases, you're supposed to do, I think it's 11 rounds of decreasing, and I did 10 because I knew that if I had continued and knit one more decreased round and then knit the ribbing, the sleeves would have been entirely too big, like in a way where it's like not cute oversized. Like, it would have just looked too big for me, and I didn't want that, so I just cut off one of the decreased rounds at the end. And there was one other thing that I cut down, I'm not sure, or that might be on a different pattern that I cut down 2 things. But yeah, I really love this pattern. It was very, very simple. It is a grind. Like, you really have to, I got really discouraged when I was knitting the body because it's so long. Like, the sweater is supposed to be oversized, so since it's an oversized pattern, the body takes a long time, and I think I was just like over it at the time. I was like, I can't do stockinette anymore, I need to do something else. So that's why I put it down. But overall, I would say it was really enjoyable to knit, very easy. The yarn that I used is Patton's Classic Wool Worsted, sort of, something like that. The color I used, I know it's Natural Mix. You can't really see it in this lighting like at all, but oh, maybe you can. So it's not like a flat gray. It does have like some heathering in it. It's really pretty. It's almost like a gray brown, which I really like. And I did tubular bind off for the sleeves, for the cuffs and the bottom hem ribbing, which I love. I think that if I were to make this again, which I might as a gift for someone, my coworker wants one like with the exact same neckline, so I wouldn't do the fold over. I probably would do a tubular cast on though. I feel like that would look much neater. I think this doesn't look bad, but I think if I were to change something, I would probably do that. So yeah, that's the only finished object I have. Sorry, it's like a boring like start to a podcast, but I only have one. I do have lots of knitting plans, and I'm in the middle of a lot of whips. I will only show you 2 because 2 of them I'm actively working on. The other ones I'm kind of like, they're kind of just sitting around, so I don't really want to show them because I'm not really working on them. It's not really like a work in progress, it's like just a work, you know what I mean? It's like a work on standby, WOS, like that type of thing. Okay, so the first whip I want to show you is in here. This is, oh my god, look at, okay. These are all the balls of yarn I have in this bag for this project. Because when I was winding the yarn, I think I need to get a new yarn winder. Mine's very problematic. It's just like the loops and threads one. Okay, so she's a little wrinkled because she's been in the project bag for a little while. But this is like one of those projects that I call a home project, which means like I won't really bring this anywhere with me because it's so big. Like, I just work on it at home. But I was out one day at my favorite coffee place, and I was like, you know what, why not? Let me bring it so I can work on it. And I finished one sleeve, and then I left it in the project bag. So So this is the cardigan number 8 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I have one sleeve done. This is the left sleeve. I guess I can also put this on because it's not really, it's not done. So, okay. So this is her. Yeah, she needs a block for sure. Like there are certain projects where I'm like, okay, yeah, this needs to be blocked. But yeah, this is it so far. I just did one sleeve. Also did, you can kind of see my decreases here a little bit. Yeah, like right there. And my tubular bind off for the sleeve. This is a gorgeous pattern. I love this, the shoulder decreases. I've never, the only other cardigan I've ever made and completed is the Poppy cardigan by Wonderco Creations, question mark. I made it a long time ago, but it's knit all in the flat and then seamed together. So I've never done a cardigan with this type of shoulder detail before. And the only other cardigan I have in progress is also another My Favorite Things Knitwear. It's cardigan number 7, which is a raglan cardigan, and this one is not. So I love this detail. Like I'm obsessed with the shoulder. I can't get enough of it. Like I can't wait till it's done so I can wear it because this is like the best part of the pattern. I did have a little bit of trouble initially working on this because like after the sleeve, my plan was to, actually after the body, my plan was to do the button band so that it would be done and then I could do the sleeves last because they were gonna take the least amount of time. But the instructions on how to do a double knitted button band were not clear at all to me. I will say that, like if you're thinking about doing this pattern, what I would suggest is look up a tutorial on YouTube on how to do a double knitted button band. Handmade by Florence, who I watch on YouTube, has a great one, and that's what I watched. And then I was like, okay, now I get it, because it was just not clear in the pattern at all. Maybe that was my lack of understanding and lack of experience on doing that, but I've never done a double knitted button band before, and it was really confusing trying to follow the instructions of the pattern. I went to my yarn store one day and asked one of the women on staff to help me, and even she was like, this is so confusing. And I was like, okay, so it's not just me, great. But a lot of people have made this pattern and loved it, so I don't know, maybe I was just confused or something. But yeah, this is her. I'm really excited to finish it. I don't have a lot of cardigans, and I made this because I realized that I didn't have any cardigans. I do eventually want to have a black cardigan, but knitting with black is very annoying. So this was one thing that I promised myself when I started knitting, was that I wasn't going to make anything black because a lot of my clothes that I have already are black. I wear a lot of black all the time. And so when I started making clothes for myself, I decided that I was going to make things that I wouldn't buy for myself or things that I wouldn't normally wear. So these are probably like the 3 most neutral colored pieces you'll see. I do knit in a lot of blue. Blue is a neutral to me, so you'll probably see a lot of blue over the course of time on this channel. But yeah, so I just have to do the sleeve and the button band and then it's done. I don't have buttons picked out for this. I have some on hand, but I'm not sure how they'll look with that. The yarn that I'm using and all these little spheres here, all these little cakes and whatever, is a yarn that I actually inherited, so I don't know the brand. The only thing I know is that it's 100% wool and it's brown. And I also don't wear a lot of brown. I have like nothing brown, and I would like to get into brown this fall. I want that to be one of my fall colors, so I figured, okay, let's start with a brown cardigan. It's easy enough, and if I want to wear it with all black, I can do that. If I want to wear it with white, I can do that. So that's one. And the second whip I have is not really exciting because it's like not much of anything yet. So this is what she looks like. This is just the back. Okay, just stick with me here, walk with me, just picture it for a sec. This is the back, this is the neck, this is one of the shoulders. Okay, this is a pattern that I like kind of came up with and kind of not. Like I saw a photo of a sweater that I really wanted, and I was like, okay, I could probably make that. It was gray, a little oversized. It had a short opening, so not as deep as a v-neck, a little shorter with a few buttons, and it had it was distressed, which I've never done before, and I was like, oh, that'll be fun, let's do that. So I started it. The pattern that I'm like basing it off of a little bit, just for the structure of the neck and the shoulders, is the Weekend V-neck slipover, Weekend slipover V-neck, whatever, by PetiteKnit, which I have made before. And when I was looking at the sweater that I was thinking of making, I was like, okay, structurally, it kind of looks the same. It's like a drop shoulder with an opening, and that was like the only pattern I had that has that. I do have like another sweater pattern that's a drop shoulder with a V-neck, but I just think that it wouldn't look right. It just wouldn't look the way that I wanted it to, so I started it using the PetiteKnit pattern. This yarn is Barocco Vintage Chunky. I think the color is Cracked Pepper. I don't know the number, but that's the color name. And this is knitting up really quick. Obviously, like, I'm knitting these on a 6.5 millimeters. This is a 10.5 needle, and this is bulky weight yarn, so it's going pretty quick. I like just started this a couple days ago. I think 2 days ago, actually. So this is just I'm just knitting towards the back. You're supposed to knit 23 centimeters down the back, then you go around to knit the right and the left shoulders, and then you connect it in the round. So what I'm going to do for my mods are, I'm gonna knit the back to the appropriate length, because I feel like the sleeve, where the sleeve meets, it will probably be fine. And I'm just not gonna do as many decreases like for the neck, so that it won't be so deep. It'll just be like right there. So that's the plan. I hope it works. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to like start doing distressed stuff. I'm just gonna do it on the front. Like, I'm not gonna do it on the back because I've never done it and I'm a little scared, not gonna lie to you. Oh, the sun is coming back out. I have to go walk somewhere and it's so hot. So I'm kind of like dreading that, but that's okay. So yeah, those are my 2 active whips and my 1 finished object. So I guess that brings us to the end. If you watched, thank you for watching. I know this was kind of like underwhelming, but I figured just to dip my toes in a little bit, I will do this kind of video, just keep it short and do a little introduction to what I'm working on. I am working on a lot of other things. I have a lot of whips from last year, 2022, that I intend on finishing this year because I don't want them to just sit forever and not be finished. So probably in the next installment of this video, I will do that. I'll talk more about those because I really want to get those into gear. I'm kind of a slow knitter, so I try to do a lot of my fall knitting in the summer. It's a little difficult because handling wool on your skin while it's hot out is not ideal. So I try to like knit a little bit every day. I can't like knit all day unless I'm sitting in the air conditioning, like then I will do it. But we'll see how things turn out. I'm really excited to do these 2 projects and to do my other ones. I may have like 1 more summer project in mind. I've done 1 tank top and I might make it again in a different color, but I'm not really in a rush to do that because I don't know, I feel like I don't love summer, so I don't really dress for it. So me like intentionally making a summer project is like, yeah, it's like a little boring. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Hopefully this was good. I'll probably make another one of these videos like kind of soon because there wasn't much to see here, so maybe there'll be more to see next time. I will also try to think of something fun to put at the end of the video instead of acquisitions, because I'm trying not to have any acquisitions. But if you guys want to see like, I don't know, book recs, music recs, I work in a bookstore, so I read a lot. I can recommend books, TV shows, music, probably music because I don't really watch a lot of TV, but yeah, anything like that. So I'm going to go now and I'm gonna go get bubble tea with my friend, so I'm really excited. So yeah, that was today's first podcast. I will also try to come up with a cool name for these, but I think just knitting podcast is fine. So thanks for watching and I will see you next time.